Yo, what's up guys? Ego Dre, but you can call me Dre, and today I'm doing something very different compared to what I usually do, which is normally EDO Pro competitive content, but instead today I'm going to bring to you a deck profile. So I have been gone for a bit from playing EDO Pro in general because lately I've been playing a lot of remote duels. And I found like a remote duel local here in SoCal that's been pretty good for me, and I've been attending it basically the last I want to say 3 weeks or so. So basically I'm just going to showcase the Drytron deck that I brought to the local this past week and ended up going undefeated. I did go 5-0 and I did play about 3 Drytron mirrors, I want to say, and a couple other rogue stuff, including like Eldlick and Invoked and such. So I've been playing in these locals, and for the last couple weeks I have topped about 3 times or so, topped three 3 times, I believe it was, out of 30 people, more or less. So it's a decent sample size considering what it is, so it's not like a waste of time local, I would say. Deck profile isn't to showcase how powerful Drytron are, because we all know how powerful the deck is now at this point, but it's more to give you an idea on a budget build without having to pick up overly expensive cards like droplets and talent, and basically just set up some groundwork for you if you plan on playing in any of the upcoming remote duel extravaganzas without spending too much on stables. If you already played Drytron and would like a couple ideas without having to go too far into your wallet, I think this would be a good video for you, because it's not necessarily about how broken the deck is, because we already know how broken the deck is, but more of ideas that you could play to consider consistency and consider matchups and just playing in tournament in general. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So okay, cool. Starting off with the monsters, we definitely played 3 Drytron Alpha. This is the best card in the deck. An exclamation for this one. You draw into it, you top deck it. It gets you the best value out of your cards, so I would say for sure play 3 of those. The next count is going to be triple Drytron Zeta. I've seen a lot of people cutting this down to 2. I personally wouldn't. I think this card is extremely important. There's only a couple Drytrons that you really want to see, and these are the ones. So if you really want to see Drytron Zeta, I would definitely play 3 of them. You need your ritual spell to be able to play this, to be able to play the game in general, to be able to play the deck. So I wouldn't see why people would be cutting that down. And a lot of the times, when it comes to Drytron numbers, people are kind of like iffy on it. Like a lot of people are changing things up, or changing up like the way that they do their Drytron numbers. And personally, I think just 3 and 3 of this is the best number, because these are the only ones you really want to see. Next, triple or double Drytron Delta. You do like seeing this one only because it's another name, and it's a decent because it's +1 if you can resolve it. But a lot of times I do end up siding one out, because there's times where like you want to actually see your side deck and you don't want to draw into multiple Drytrons. So depending on what the matchup is looking like and how you're feeling at the time, you can change it up during your side decking. But I think main deck 2 is very important, so I think you definitely should do that. I am not playing Foolish Burial. I do think, or let's talk about this first, because I only play 1 Gamma. So I'm not playing Foolish Burial. I think it's very bad. I don't understand why people are really playing it, other than for the idea that to get a Drytron name. I mean, a Drytron name engrave. I mean, I guess, but 90% of the time, like when I see Foolish Burial, I just wish it was another name, because if it was another name, then I can at least pitch like something later on in the game with it, I could use it as a Drytron name to pitch as fodder from the grave to bring back a Drytron in general. So I don't know why people are really playing Foolish Burial. Like, I guess I could see like the extra Drytron name, but at that point I might as well be playing Beta Rostaban. Like, I would just rather play a different Drytron at that point rather than having to send with the Foolish Burial. I think it's a very bad card. I don't really understand why people are playing it. But yeah, only 1 Gamma. This card is obviously the best, like one of the best cards in the deck. I can see this card going up to 2, but right now 90% of the time, if I activate the Gamma and it resolves, I usually already win. And if I send it to the grave and they banish it the first time, I'm usually already losing. So I don't see a reason to play the second Gamma immediately, but in the future I could possibly bump it up to 2 just in case. This is the only one that I would probably bump up, and then maybe add Beta if like I ever need more of a Drytron number. But for now, I think like the Drytron count is very good. Like, this is about fine. This is more than enough that you need, including the Cyber Emergencies and Novas, so that should be good. Next we are playing 3 Herald of Orange Light. Obviously the good card in the deck, probably the best way to play the deck with fairies and fairy negates. And then the 1 of Eva, very good card. We also do the Cyber Petite Angel. Eva and Cyber Petite Angel, obviously, you know, they all work together. You want to have this because you want an extra the extra name to be able to add. Don't ever side this out. You will regret it. When you side out Cyber Petite Angel and then you use Eva and you realize that you don't have the second target, you will regret it if you're using the Herald effects or using the Herald negates and need more Herald negates. You will regret doing that, so don't side it out. And then we also play for the 1-ofs. We play 1 Vanity's Ruler, 1 Lancia, 1 Manju, and then 1 Dawn Knight. So we can talk about this. The Vanity's Ruler, a lot of people are taking out the Vanity's Ruler, I've seen. Me personally, I would not take it out. I feel like they're putting it in the side deck so that way they don't main deck it because they might not go first. Me personally, I would keep the Vanity's Ruler in. It's an auto win. It's also fair to add. There's never really a time. I think there's probably like 1 game where I kind of opened it and I was just like, damn, I wish this wasn't Vanity's Ruler. But if you're planning on going first, because this build is such a blind first build, it's better just to keep the Vanity's Ruler in anyways, because you know it's an OTK against Drytrons most of the time, and it's I don't think it's win more. I don't think this card is 2 win more compared to the other cards in the deck. And then the Lancia, man, I was like back and forth with this card, but this card single-handedly just won me the entire tournament. Like going undefeated, I played against so many Drytrons, and I played against Eldlik, and I played against Dinos, and I played against Invoked. So it was just really, really good when I saw it. It was insane when I saw it. So I just think the card at 1 is at least fine, because at least you can add it. I was already thinking about cutting it, but and I also don't play any in the side deck either, so I want to add more to the side deck too. But this card is just really, really good when it resolves well. So not regretting that one. Manju, obviously needs to play Manju, and then Dawn Knight, because he needs to play Dawn Knight for the dump. And then onto the Ritual Monsters, we play 3 Cyber Angel Ben 10. Obviously triple Ben 10, best cards, probably gonna get hit. And then the 1 Natasha. This card's insane. This card's really, really nuts. If you just save this like later when you're playing, while you're playing, you save this later as an answer to everything, then you could probably just win the whole game. Let's be honest. You get to take their entire board, they don't get to play. Like, man, it's so nasty. Yeah, and then this is where things are gonna get kind of weird for you guys. I am playing still the Herald of Perfection. So I'm playing this build instead of the Herald of Ultimateness. Yes, Ultimateness is a better card, but the way that I'm playing the build is kind of more of a blind first, and it is a good option to do, considering the fact that you win so hard going first with this. You will always win, even through Droll, even through any hand trap, because you're playing Herald of Perfection and the pre-preps that I'm playing as well as the spells. You are able to play through so many hand traps because you bait them all out. So going first is an auto win. There's a lot of times with the other build when you go Ultimateness where you will just lose to hand traps going first. Even still going first with Drytron, you'll still lose to certain hand traps because there's so many people main decking Droll, so many people main decking Skullmeister and Ghost Bell. They're all just main decking the hate for this deck. And what I realize is that the deck right now needs an answer to those hand traps, and I think the best answer is more of an engine, and pre-prep is just a stronger engine for them to use stuff on. And if they don't use stuff on it, then I have a free negate on the board instantly if I draw this with Ben 10, and that is what is winning me so many games. Like for sure this card, this engine is winning me so many games, and like nobody is seeing it coming. Nobody's seeing me have instant negates like out the board to be able to stop all of their Meisters, all of their Drolls, whatever they do. Yeah, this card is it's just been working really well because of how fast I can get to it. Whereas with Ultimateness, you have to go through your whole combo just to get to it. Same thing with Vanity's Ruler, you have to get through your whole combo just to get to it. Herald of Perfection, you don't have to go through your whole combo at all. Like, you just have to go through pre-prep, and it gets really nasty. It does require that you play the Garnet, but 90% of the time, I end up siding it out. So we can talk about that once I get to the spells too. So onto the spells. 3 Drytron Nova. So if you're on a budget and you want to play Drytron, unfortunately, you do have to buy this card. I believe they're still at $40 a piece. That's how much I bought them for. I think I remember at the time. Yeah, it's just the engine of the deck. It's too strong. If you want to play Drytron, you have to at least buy that. And then one of the Meteonis, obviously. One ritual spell. I guess we could talk about this too. I don't play 2. You can play 2. I've seen people playing 2. I don't think it's bad. There has been times where people banish my Meteo, and I'm like, fuck, that hurts. But it was already too late when they did it, and I was able to just OTK them with Natasha. I have seen people just like target this and banish it. So playing it at 2 might be smart. Honestly, I think it would be a pretty good idea. I could probably do it if I could fit it. But yeah, it might be the move. At 1 is fine for me right now so far, though. At least it's been fine so far. Triple Drytron, Fafnir, obviously. The Ritual Spell, need to play 3 of those. I played Terraforming for a little bit, but you don't want to lose 2 hearts to Droll, so don't do that. Don't play Terraforming. You already play a million search cards anyways. Triple Cyber Emergency. This card's nutty because if they try to negate it, if they have a negate on board, then you'll add it back. So 90% of the time when you activate it and they have a negate, they'll just let it go through, which is pretty good. It's pretty helpful when dealing with like heavy negate boards. And also, one thing I need people to remember is that when this gets ashed, you cannot reactivate it. I have too many people trying to reactivate their Cyber Emergencies when I ash them. No, dude, you cannot reactivate the Cyber Emergency. I negated the effect, not the activation. People need to remember that. Next up, we have 3 Preparation of Rites. Very obvious stuff. Need to play that because it's the best card in the deck. Oh man, the amount of times I've top decked that in one game because of it. Insane. And then the most important stuff to talk about, the 3 pre-preparation of rites, 1 of Dawn of the Herald, and then 1 of Called by the Grave. 3 pre-prep, man, this card is insane because you have to play this obviously as the Garnet. So this is obviously going to be the Garnet. You have to play this. The biggest brick is when you draw this and this together. And it's very rare that happens. That's never happened to me. It only happened in practice a couple times, but in tournaments never happened. So it never happened a single time. This is like the Garnet of the deck. Like, but a lot of times, even when you draw it, depending on what your hand is, you can just find a way to get it to perfection. And if you don't already have the Ben 10, then you can find a way to get to the Ben 10 too. And 90% of the time, just activate Dawn of the Herald. You can still keep all your cards in your hand, and they usually are just like, damn, what does that card do? And they have to read it and like just see the way that the Dawn of the Herald plays out and like what it adds back, and it adds back in Ben 10. And then you have the Ben 10 in your hand. So basically the play is you just activate this, tribute the Ben 10, special summon the Perfection, and then the Dawn of the Herald goes to the grave, and then you Dawn of the Herald effect, add back Dawn of the Herald, so it'll go Ben 10 Chainlink 1, Dawn of the Herald Chainlink 2, Dawn of the Herald, add back that, and then Ben 10 effect, add a fairy. So basically you get the Ben 10 back in your hand, and you get a fairy as well too, and then so you have a negate on like instantly the second it comes out. And the timing is very important because the second you activate it and then you send both the cards, this is the best way that they can do it, but you're chain blocking your own Ben 10 as well. So if they have like a Meister or they have a Ash, they can't Ash that Ben 10. So that is very, very big because that means your first Ben 10, if this resolves, your first Ben 10 is going to resolve. Like almost 100%. It's going to resolve. As long as you activate this Dawn of the Herald, tributing the Ben 10 and sending the Herald of Perfection. And that's what 90% of Drytron players have problems with today, is that they can't get their first Ben 10 to resolve because everybody's playing hand traps to negate Ben 10. And it's like, if you play this, not only are you chain blocking your Ben 10, you get it back to your hand. So it's just so nasty. I really don't see why like people are so scared to play this Garnet and make these guys Garnets later on. Like we haven't played stupid Garnets in our deck before. Like we've played such bad Garnets in decks before, and we were so down to do it before. So why aren't we down to do it with Dawn of the Herald? I don't understand. It doesn't make much sense to me. And especially in a deck that searches so much, like this searches way more, and we played so many worse Garnets. So why aren't people down to play this Garnet? And they just want to play Ultimateness instead. I will give it to Ultimateness though. Ultimateness is very, very, very good. I do think it's better than Perfection on the board. When it's on the board, it gets over a lot of cards. It gets over Inspector Border. It gets over just things with 2000 attack. And it also negates summons, which is very big in Zodiac. So yes, I do think it is a better boss monster, but for consistency and for playing through hand traps and just getting your engine going, I think the Perfection and pre-prep engine is just way better. This is a free +1. It's insane. Play the Called by the Grave, especially. You have to main deck 1 Called by the Grave. You want to be able to stop Joel and Lockbird. You can sack someone really hard, and this can just win you for a game. You have to play that card. But yeah, this engine is insane. It does become also, if you draw this with Herald of Perfection, so this in Herald of Perfection, then what you can do is basically you can use a Drytron effect to pitch the Herald of Perfection, and then resolve your Drytron effect, and then activate your pre-prep rights, because this also adds back from the grave. So you activate this, at least it adds back the ritual monster back from the grave, not the ritual spell. So that's why it's a brick with the ritual spell. But when it's with Herald of Perfection, you just send the Perfection and then activate pre-prep, and then you can just add back the Perfection back to your hand. So that makes it not, and then you get the Dawn of the Herald too. So then it makes it not a brick when it's with Herald of Perfection. So I don't know. I think the card's really good. It's very rare that it's also a brick in my hand later on. Usually I just want to see one of it anyways. And yeah, so onto the extra deck. That's about all I could talk about for the main deck. Now onto the extra deck. Cool. And so for the extra deck, we have 1 Link Karibo, 1 Relinquish Anima. My extra deck's kind of standard, so not too much to talk about. One Union Carrier, one IP Masquerena. Let's see here. One Herald of Mirage Lights. IP Masquerena you go into the most. Herald of Mirage Lights you don't really go into that often. One Nightmare Phoenix, you go into that one pretty often too. One Nightmare Unicorn, gotta do the Nightmare package. I kind of want to fit Nightmare Cerberus in, but I'm not positive exactly what I'm gonna take out. I'm probably gonna take out Herald of Arclight, but we'll see. One Appaloosa. This card's pretty good if you can make it. If you can make it before they're able to drop Droll. So if you can play around Droll, you can use this. You can use Drytrons to go into Appaloosa and not use their search effect to just make Appaloosa and then like try to resolve Benton later. Pretty good. I think that's all the format's about. It's about playing around hand traps. Cool. One Access Code Talker, one Brawl Sword. So for you budget players, I know you guys don't want to have to play things like Access Code Talker, but this card, I wouldn't say it's 100% necessary. I do think you win a lot of games with Access Code Talker, but low key, I think you can do without it, but it might end up being one of the games you lose in the tournament. You know what I mean? So like you could probably do without it, honestly, because Brawl Sword, I summon Brawl Sword more than I summon Access Code Talker because Brawl Sword just ends the game. But Access Code Talker is just, it's just so good. Like them not being able to respond and being able to clear a board, it's also very good. It's just good to also have that option. So I don't think this is necessary for those budget players. So just for you guys, I don't think this is necessary. But if you guys can play it, play it. I play one Herald of Arclight of the Arclight. I wanted a Maximus target because I was Maximus a couple times like the past weeks, and I didn't have anything to send. So I ended up putting in Arclight, but I never resolved it. So I'm probably gonna take this out for something else. You guys can do the same. One Lyrilisk and one Lil Fucko. Man, I love Lil Fucko, dude. He be coming in clutch. Lyrilisk is super good, obviously, because of what he does. And then Lil Fucko is just really nice when it comes to playing against another Zeus or something like that. He's unaffected by all other card effects, so he can just protect himself. And then you can go to Downer Magician like the next turn or something. And the Downer Magician, and then the one Zeus. I do think this card is necessary. So for you budget players, at least it's not $80. This card is around like 50. I do think this card is necessary. If you guys don't want to play this card, then I mean, a lot of the times I'm not gonna lie, for the Undefeated tournament, I never really went into this because my Perfection and my Vanity Ruler was more than enough, especially the Perfection and the Brawl Sword. So I was just doing a lot of that. I never went into this like super often, so maybe you guys can play without it, but I would say play with it if you can. Cool. And then just tokens. And cool, onto the side deck. Cool, and for the side deck, this is like the most important part for sure. Side decking is very important. You guys need to know that. I am playing a go first, blinding go first deck. So I do play a lot of the hand traps in the side deck, or I just play hand traps in the side deck in general. I am playing 3 Ash. This is the best card in the format. You need to play Ash. If you're not playing it in the main deck, then you have to play it in the side deck. Like, you have to play this card. This card's way too good. If I could fit it in my main deck, I would, but I cannot. This card is just too good. It hits everything in the format right now. If you're not playing Ash, then you're not even trying. They are pretty expensive. $15 for a common, so budget-wise, good luck getting those. Hopefully you guys can get it. Droll and Lockbird, these come common, so I know you guys will be able to get this one. Droll and Lockbird is insane in this format because of Drytron, and it's insane against Dragon Link because the Dragon Link is getting popular again. It's insane against Dogmatica decks, even though those decks kind of suck. But yeah, Droll and Lockbird did a very good card, being able to negate stuff. Now here is my quote-unquote budget, I guess you would say, options for you guys, because I know a lot of people want to be able to play droplets and a lot of people want to be able to play talents and stuff like that. But if you guys cannot afford those things, I would say triple Dark Ruler No More, one Book of Moon is very good. This is more than enough of an answer to a lot of things, just not VFD. And the best way to deal with that is going to be with Herald of Orange Light, and just Herald negates in general is going to be the best way to deal with that. And most likely your hand traps. It's just good hand trap timing, playing around hand traps and such. That's going to be your best answer that I could give you for that specific monster. That monster does need to be banned. However, this does the trick for a lot of cards and for a lot of decks. Dark Ruler No More is very good against a lot of boards, including the Barrier Statue board, and just broken boards that people are playing to like stop hand traps, and also against Herald of Perfection and Herald of Ultimateness, and against Vanity's Ruler in the mirror. Like, the card's just better in the mirror than it is in the virtual world matchup. So. And then the one of Book of Moon. Book of Moon is just also my 4th Dark Ruler No More. It's basically just my 4th answer to get over like a Floodgate monster that I need to deal with. So I would say this is a good option. I think this would be a pretty good option. Like I said, as long as you are side decking correctly and hand trapping correctly, you should be good to go when it comes to playing against those matchups. And then for back row removal, I play 1 Twin Twister, 3 Cosmic Cyclone, and 1 Duster. I was thinking Red Reboot, but honestly, I don't like how Red Reboot kind of puts you on a timer. It makes it so you pay half and then you have to win that turn. And if you can't win that turn, then you just shit out of luck, you lose. So not saying that Red Reboot isn't a broken card. I do think Red Reboot is a broken ass fucking card. But I would prefer to have this to whereas I can actually minus them and not have to feel the pressure of having to end the game right then and there. This is all really good against Udlick, all really good against the Floodgate traps and such. And yeah, that's gonna be my deck profile, guys. Hey, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below if you guys want to see more deck profiles. I don't think I'm going to play too much of Drytron as much anymore. I will be doing more of different decks and such. If you guys want to see more deck profiles of me playing at remote duels, I'm going to bring different decks probably to those remote duels, and then we'll see how that goes. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys. If you like the video, like it. If you like my channel, subscribe to it. Alrighty, y'all.